The mockery begins. The grand chamber of the Galactic Council was filled with light, sound, and laughter. It was not friendly laughter, but the sharp kind that mocked and cut deep. Dozens of alien delegates leaned forward in their seats, their strange eyes glowing, their voices echoing across the hall. The topic of the day was Earth. They still burned fuel to launch their ships. One alien said, his long teeth flashing as he spoke. Primitive fire rockets. Can you imagine? Another alien slapped the table with a claw. Their weapons are nothing but chemical shells. A child in our empire could build stronger toys. The hall burst into laughter again, and for a moment, it seemed like the whole galaxy was against one small blue planet. But in the corner of the chamber sat the human ambassador. He did not laugh. He did not rise to defend his people. He only sat still, eyes calm, face like stone. His silence made some nervous, but the mocking voices drowned out the unease. One alien commander leaned close to the others. His skin was armored. In dark plates, his people known for war. 2 fleets are already on the move, he whispered, but not low enough to hide it from the humans nearby. When they reach Earth, the humans will learn what it means to mock the Council with their stubborn independence. The word spread quickly. Delegates whispered to one another, some smirking, some eager for the spectacle. To many, humanity was just a tiny world on the edge of the stars, loud, defiant, but fragile. Crushing them would be easy, and it would serve as a lesson to anyone else who dared resist. Still, the human ambassador did not speak. He stood when the meeting ended, bowed with calm grace, and left without a word. Some called it weakness. Others called it fear. But on Earth, the silence meant something else. Far away from the council chambers, under the clouds of the blue planet, preparations were already moving. Deep inside hidden mountains, massive doors groaned open, revealing steel tunnels and glowing lights. Humans in dark uniforms moved quickly, typing commands, checking screens, loading weapons into waiting bays. In the oceans, beneath waves that looked calm to the eye, something stirred. Submerged shapes, long, metallic, and silent, waited in the deep. They had been resting there for years, hidden from every alien sensor, waiting for this very moment. Above, orbiting in the dark sky, satellites flickered to life. Their signals connected, forming an invisible web around Earth. Each one carried more than just cameras. They carried teeth-rail cannons, plasma beams, guided warheads. All sleeping weapons, now slowly waking. But the people of Earth lived their lives as normal. Children walked to schools, farmers tended their fields, workers filled the cities with sound and motion. On the surface, humanity looked fragile, unprepared. This was the mask Earth had shown for decades. Only the generals and commanders in secret bunkers knew the truth. Humanity had been preparing since the first alien insult, since the first threat. They had studied every alien weapon they could find, copied what worked, improved what failed. They had built in silence, hiding their strength under the skin of a primitive world. And now, the fleets were coming. In the cold of space, the first alien fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel. Their ships were massive, sharp, and glowing with alien power. They filled the void like predators circling prey. The commander of the fleet laughed as his image was sent across open channels. His voice carried arrogance and contempt. People of Earth, you stand before the true rulers of the galaxy. You will lower your weapons, surrender your skies, and bow before us, or you will burn. On Earth, the broadcast played across secret command rooms. Soldiers listened in silence. No one laughed, no one spoke. They only tightened their hands on their controls and waited for the order. In orbit, Earth's defense grid powered up. Invisible beams of energy connected satellites. To ground bases, generators hummed. Weapons locked onto the incoming fleet. Yet no human voice answered the alien commander. The silence grew heavy, stretching longer and longer until even the alien crews grew uneasy. Why weren't the humans answering? Back on the Galactic Council world, whispers filled the chamber again. The report of the alien fleet's arrival had already reached them. Some delegates smiled, imagining fire raining down Earth. Others frowned, sensing something strange in the humans' quiet refusal to panic. Perhaps they believe their small weapons can slow us. One alien sneered, "Let them try. It will only make their destruction more entertaining." But one old alien, his skin wrinkled like stone, shook his head slowly. He had seen many wars, many empires rise and fall. His voice was low but sharp. "You all laugh," he said. "But tell me, why do they not beg? Why do they not scream? Silence can be more dangerous than shouting." No one listened. The council chamber rang with laughter once again. On Earth, in a hidden command center, the human general finally spoke. His words were short, steady, and heavy with meaning. "Let them come," he said. "They wanted to test us. Now they will learn." The room filled with quiet nods. Screens glowed with targets. Alarms hummed softly. Humanity was ready, and above them, the alien fleet drew closer, thinking they were the hunters. They had no idea. They were flying into the jaws of something far more dangerous. Silent preparations. Alien fleet thought the skies of Earth were already theirs. Their warships drifted like a dark cloud above the blue planet, their cannons armed, their commanders sure of victory. They believed Earth was nothing more than a primitive rock, a place of loud but weak creatures. But beneath the surface of that quiet planet, something far greater was happening. Deep in the Rocky Mountains, giant steel doors rumbled open. The ground shook as hidden tunnels came alive. Lights flickered on one after another, stretching far below into the Earth. Human engineers rushed between stations, checking systems, shouting codes, pulling switches. One young officer stared at the glowing screens with wide eyes. He had grown up hearing the aliens call Earth weak. Now he watched as weapons hidden under mountains began to wake. Missiles rolled forward on heavy tracks. Railguns locked into place, their barrels long and silent. "Is this all real?" The young officer whispered. The general standing behind him gave a hard nod. His voice was cold, steady, like stone. "For years, they mocked us. They laughed while we built in silence. Now, it's time they see what we've been hiding." Thousands of miles away, on a small island in the Pacific, another secret facility opened. Massive steel cranes lifted sleek black ships from hidden dry docks. The ships were unlike anything aliens had ever seen. Their hulls were designed to bend light, to look invisible even when they floated on open waves. Their weapons were covered. Silent, waiting to be revealed, a captain walked the deck of one such vessel. His boots rang against steel as he looked out over the ocean. Seabirds flew above, unaware of the war about to come. "Raise her engines," the captain ordered. "Let the galaxy see what they called primitive." The ship's engines rumbled, but the sound was muffled, quiet, almost ghost-like. The vessel slipped into the ocean with no wave, no splash. It was as if the sea itself wanted to keep the secret. Beneath the waves, hidden for decades, ancient submarines stirred. But these were not the submarines of the old wars. These were massive leviathans of steel, armed with weapons far beyond what any alien expected. Some carried missiles that could travel across the planet in minutes. Others carried weapons designed from alien scraps reverse-engineered, rebuilt, and made deadlier by human hands. In the control room of one submarine, the crew sat in silence. They had practiced for this day 1,000 times. Red lights glowed over their faces as the captain spoke quietly. "The enemy thinks we hide because we are afraid," he said. "They are wrong. We hide because we are patient. And patience wins wars. The crew answered as one. Aye, Captain? High above, in orbit, Earth's satellites shifted. To alien eyes, they looked like nothing but old communication devices, primitive metal shells floating in space. But behind their dull shapes hid sharp claws. Panels unfolded. Hidden barrels extended. Energy cores powered on with a low hum. The web of satellites connected, forming a silent network around the planet. Invisible beings laced together, unseen. By alien scanners in a hidden base on the moon's far side, operators watched the grid come alive. One of them, a woman with gray hair tied back, smiled faintly. Let them come, she murmured. They'll never see it until it's too late. The alien fleet, still drifting closer, continued to mock. Their commanders laughed as they broadcast. Threats across open channels. People of Earth, one alien captain shouted, his voice dripping with scorn. Your planet is ours. Your skies are ours. Kneel now, and perhaps we will let some of you live as servants. No reply came from Earth. The silence made the aliens sneer. To them, silence was weakness. To humans, it was the sharp edge of a blade. One alien officer frowned at his screens. His claws tapped nervously against the console. Commander, he said slowly, I am picking up strange power spikes from the planet's surface. Unfamiliar signatures. They don't match our records. The commander laughed. Malfunctions. Human machines break apart, even when they stand still. Do not waste my time. But the officer's eyes narrowed. He felt something in his bones, something he couldn't explain. Back on Earth, ordinary people went about their lives. Children laughed in schoolyards. Farmers drove their tractors through fields. City lights burned bright at night. To the galaxy, this looked like weakness. To humanity, it was strength. Even as two alien fleets approached, life continued. No surrender. No fear. In a quiet farmhouse far from the cities, an old man sat on his porch. He looked at the night sky, where faint stars glowed. He knew war was coming. He had once been a soldier. Long ago, and he recognized the calm before a storm. They'll regret it, he whispered, his voice soft but firm. They think we're still crawling. They'll see we've been standing all along. In the secret command center beneath the mountains, the general gave the order. His voice carried across thousands of hidden bases, submarines, and satellites. Phase 1, he said. Engines roared to life. Cannons powered up. Targeting systems locked onto alien warships high above. Humanity's hidden arsenal was no longer asleep. Earth's wrath was preparing to rise. The first fleet arrives. The darkness of space broke with light as the first alien fleet appeared. Hundreds of massive ships, shaped like blades of metal, tore out of faster-than-light travel. Their hulls glowed with energy, their engines leaving trails of burning silver to the galaxy. This fleet was unstoppable. To Earth, it was the first test. The alien commander stood tall on his bridge, his armor shining under the glow of screens. Around him, his officers barked orders, their voices sharp with confidence. Position the fleet around the planet. The commander said. His voice carried the weight of a predator certain of its kill. Let the humans look up and see their sky filled with their masters. The fleet moved as one, spreading out, blocking the stars. Their cannons glimmered, warming. For the strike. On Earth, ordinary people stared at the sky. Cities stopped. Cars slowed to a halt. Farmers looked up from their fields. Children pointed to the strange lights above the clouds. They did not yet know what those lights meant. In the secret command centers, humans watched carefully. Screens filled with red dots as the alien fleet moved into orbit. The general stood in silence, his hands behind his back. Status? He asked. Satellites locked, an officer replied. Missile grids are online. Submarines ready. Railguns charged. The general nodded slowly. Do not fire. Let them speak first. The alien commander opened a wide channel. His voice thundered across every human device, televisions, radios, even personal phones. Humans of Earth, he declared, his tone full of disdain. You are nothing. Your world belongs to the galaxy now. Your weapons are toys. Your armies are insects. Bow before us, and perhaps we shall let you serve instead of burn. The message played everywhere. In the streets, crowds listened with fear. In homes, families held each other close. The words were cruel, heavy, meant to crush hope. But still, Earth gave no answer. The silence stretched on. The alien commander frowned. He expected begging, screaming, panic. Instead, there was only quiet. Very well, he snarled. Then you will burn. The first fleet shifted. Cannons opened like jaws. Bright lights glowed at their tips. Energy gathered, ready to tear through the skies of Earth. But before the first shot could fire, the silence ended not with words, but with thunder from the oceans. Hidden submarines released their fury. Dozens of missiles broke the waves and streaked toward the sky. They moved faster than light to alien eyes, twisting in impossible patterns, splitting into swarms. In orbit, satellites awoke fully. Panels unfolded. Energy beams flashed across space. Alien ships that believed themselves invisible targets suddenly burned as their shields collapsed under human strikes. From the mountains, railguns fired. Massive shells, accelerated to impossible speeds, ripped into the alien formation. One warship exploded in a flash of fire before it could even react. The alien commander's eyes widened. What? How? The first fleet panicked. Alien crews shouted as alarms screamed across their ships. Their sensors had never recorded such weapons from humans. These were not toys. These were predators' claws. Shields collapsing. An officer cried. 3 ships destroyed. Another shouted. The commander gritted his teeth. Fire back! Show these primitives our strength. The alien fleet roared. Energy beams cut through space, striking Earth's defenses. Several satellites exploded. A railgun platform shattered into fire. Humans died in silence, their sacrifice unseen, but their weapons struck harder still. The sky became a storm. On Earth's surface, the ground shook with every railgun blast. In the cities, people watched the night sky light up with strange fire. Some cried, some prayed, but others felt something different rising in their hearts. Not pride, not for the first time. They saw their planet fight back not with weakness, but with power. The alien commander gripped his console, his calm fading. His fleet was supposed to crush Earth in minutes. Yet ships were falling faster than they could regroup. Missiles moved, like hunters, tearing through hulls. Energy beams lanced from hidden satellites, cutting warships apart. Pull the second formation back. He shouted, hold the line, but it was already too late. The humans had drawn first blood. Back in the mountain command center, the general finally allowed himself a small smile. He spoke softly, almost to himself. They thought us weak. Let them choke on their arrogance. An officer turned to him. General, orders? The general raised his hand. Release Phase 2. Above, the night sky shattered again. New warships rose from the ocean's sleek, black, silent vessels the aliens had never seen before. They powered into the void, joining the fight. Their cannons roared, their engines blazing. The alien fleet, once proud and mocking, now found itself trapped between the planet's fury and the humans' hidden armada. And for the first time in centuries, the galaxy's predators felt fear. Asterisk wrath of the planet, the alien commander's ship shook under the weight of explosions. Sparks rained from the ceiling as alarms screamed across the bridge. His officers shouted numbers, warnings, and losses, but none of it made sense. "This is impossible," he roared. "They are primitives. They cannot fight us like this." Yet, the truth was plain on the screens before him. Warships of his fleet were burning, their hulls splitting under railgun strikes. Missiles twisted through defenses like hunters, with perfect aim. Satellites rained invisible energy beams that tore apart entire squadrons. The predators of the galaxy had walked straight into a trap. On Earth, the general stood in the Mountain Command Center, his eyes calm. He watched as red dots on the screen, the alien fleet, flickered and disappeared one by one. "Report," he said. 7 enemy cruisers destroyed, 4 more heavily damaged. Our grid is holding. Casualties on our side minimal so far." The general nodded slowly. "Good. Keep pressure. Make them bleed." The oceans churned with power as human warships rose from the deep. Black, angular shapes cut through the waves and launched upward, their engines blazing. They broke the surface like sea monsters, sending water high into the air and then climbed into the sky. One alien officer gasped as the new ships appeared on his sensors. "Commander, more vessels are joining them. Their technology, these are not primitive designs." The commander slammed his fist against the console. "Destroy them." But the new human warships were faster, sharper, deadlier than anything the aliens expected. Their weapons were a mix of railgun fire and strange energy bursts, hybrids built from alien scraps but improved with human minds. They struck with brutal precision, cutting through shields that should have been unbreakable. The battle above Earth turned into chaos. Alien ships tried to regroup, but every move they made was met with human fire. One cruiser tried to dive closer to the planet, only to be torn apart by a swarm of missiles launched from hidden silos in the desert. Another turned its cannons toward the oceans, but its shots fell silent when a railgun shell split its core in half. In orbit, the alien commander shouted orders, but his fleet no longer moved like predators. They moved like prey trying to escape. On the ground, ordinary humans looked up at the night sky. The stars were broken by streaks of light fire, explosions, trails of missiles. Cities glowed with fear and awe. People who had once believed the galaxy would crush them now watched their world strike back with a wrath no one had ever seen before. A boy in a small village asked his father, "Are we winning?" The father stared at the burning lights in the sky. For the first time, he allowed himself to smile. "Yes," he whispered. "We are." In the alien flagship, panic spread. Shields at 40%. An officer shouted, "We've lost 2 more squadrons." Another cried. The commander's rage boiled, but behind it grew something worse, fear. His mind raced with disbelief. How could this be? These were humans, a species mocked by the galaxy for centuries. And yet here they were, destroying his fleet with weapons no record had ever shown. "They hid this," the commander muttered, realization sinking like poison. "All this time, they hid this from us." Back on Earth, the general gave a new command. His voice was calm, steady, but filled with finality. "Begin Phase 3. At once, the skies above Earth changed again. From hidden bases buried deep in ice, from silos forgotten in deserts, from bunkers beneath cities, new weapons rose. Hypersonic missiles screamed upward, faster than anything the aliens could track. Energy lances shot from ground towers, cutting through the void like knives of light. One by one, alien ships exploded in silence, their fire lighting up the black canvas of space. Asterisk. A human warship, the Resolute, charged directly into the heart of the alien formation. Its captain, standing tall on the bridge, gave the order with no hesitation. Forward batteries fire at will. The ship's cannons thundered. Rail slugs ripped through enemy cruisers. Plasma bursts tore apart fighters. The Resolute was smaller than the alien dreadnoughts, yet it carved a path of destruction with relentless fury. Alien captains screamed in disbelief. How can one ship do this much damage? But the humans did not answer. Their reply was only fire. Minutes stretched like hours. The alien fleet that had arrived with arrogance was now broken and scattered. Ships tried to retreat, their engines burning as they fled. Some were hunted down by human missiles. Others were left drifting, silent hulks surrounded by wreckage. The First Fleet, once the pride of an empire, was shattered. In the Galactic Council chamber, news arrived. Delegates listened in shock as the report spread. The First Fleet has been destroyed. Earth stands unbroken. The same voices that once laughed now fell silent. Eyes widened, jaws clenched. For the first time, fear spread through the powerful. What are they? One alien whispered. What kind of world hides such power? On Earth, in the mountain bunker, the general stood tall. His officers cheered, some with tears in their eyes, others pounding their fists against consoles in triumph. But the general raised his hand, silencing them. This was only the First Fleet, he reminded them. The second is already on its way. They will not underestimate us again. The room fell quiet. Everyone understood. The battle was won, but the war was not over. Above the planet, wreckage drifted like broken bones. Earth had shown its wrath. The galaxy was watching. And the second storm was already coming. Asterisk, the Second Fleet's doom. The galaxy thought the First Fleet would be enough. A hammer to crush a primitive planet. But when news spread that the mighty Armada had been destroyed, shock rippled through every empire. The council chamber that once echoed with laughter now sat in uneasy silence. And then came the next message. The Second Fleet had entered Earth system. This new Armada dwarfed the first. Thousands of ships appeared in flashes of light, covering the void like a swarm of predators. Their hulls were heavier, their cannons larger, their shields stronger. If the First Fleet was a blade, the second was an avalanche. On the flagship, the new alien commander sneered at the wreckage drifting near Earth. The twisted remains of his people's warships floated like broken toys. Smoke and fire painted the void. Pathetic, he growled. They killed fools, not warriors. Now they will face the true fleet. His officers roared in agreement, eager for revenge. Their arrogance returned, blind to the storm they were walking into. On Earth, the general stood in the mountain command center, watching the screens fill with red once again. The room grew tense. The First Fleet had been a victory. But this was different. They brought everything, one officer whispered, his voice tight with fear. This is half their empire's strength. The general's eyes narrowed. Then we show them all of ours. He turned to his commanders. Begin Phase 4. Bring everything online. The planet answered. In the oceans, giant doors opened. On the seafloor, releasing vessels no alien had ever seen. Colossal warships, hidden for decades beneath the waves, began to rise. Their hulls were dark and sharp, each one the size of a floating city. From hidden caverns inside the moon, new fleets powered up. These were humanity's secret crown jewels, warships built in silence, armed with weapons beyond imagination. Their engines burned blue as they launched into the void, joining the defense grid. Even from Mars, small outposts activated, sending long-range missiles toward the incoming enemy. Humanity had prepared not just Earth, but the whole system. The Second Alien Fleet advanced with full fury. Their cannons lit the void with fire. Massive beams struck Earth's orbit, destroying satellites and platforms in brilliant explosions. Whole sections of the human defense grid fell silent. But for every weapon they destroyed, 10 more came alive. From Earth's skies, railguns fired, their shells tearing through alien shields. From the seas, missiles rose in swarms, each splitting into smaller warheads mid-flight, overwhelming enemy defenses. From the moon, hidden cannons unleashed energy beams, so powerful they cut entire battleships in half. The alien commanders. Sneer turned to rage. They cannot have built all this. Not in secret. It's impossible. But the truth was undeniable. Humanity had been underestimated for too long. The battle raged. Alien warships closed in, their numbers vast, their firepower devastating. Human vessels fell, burning as they shielded the planet. Submarines were destroyed in fiery blasts. Whole railgun stations collapsed under enemy fire, but Earth did not break. Every time a human position was destroyed, another opened fire. Every time a ship fell, its sacrifice bought time for a dozen more to strike. The void became a storm of fire. On the bridge of the human flagship Iron Dawn, the captain stood steady as enemy ships swung toward them. They're trying to cut through to the planet. An officer shouted. The captain's voice was calm, his eyes hard. Not while we're here. Lock all weapons. Earn everything we have. The Iron Dawn unleashed its fury. Cannons roared, missiles fired in endless waves, energy beams slashed. Across space, the ship tore into the alien formation, carving a path through cruisers and frigates alike. The aliens fired back with all their might, but the Iron Dawn refused to fall. The alien commander screamed in fury as more ships exploded. Around him, his fleet was bleeding, torn apart by a species he had mocked as animals. "This cannot be," he shouted. "We are the masters of the stars." But no one answered. His officers' eyes were wide with fear. Some shouted reports, others begged for retreat. And then came the moment that sealed their fate. From Earth's dark side, hidden until now, rose humanity's greatest weapon. A warship so massive it blotted out the stars. Larger than any alien dreadnought, its hull glowed with 1,000 lights. It moved like a mountain given life. Its name, painted in bold letters across the side, was simple: Vengeance. The sight alone froze the battlefield. Alien crews stared at it in terror. Human soldiers cheered in their bunkers, voices shaking the walls. The Vengeance opened fire. Its first shot destroyed 3 alien battleships in a single blast. Its second ripped apart a carrier, scattering fire across the void. Its third tore through the alien flagship's shields, shaking the commander's bridge like an earthquake. The galaxy had mocked humanity as primitive. Now they saw the truth. Earth had been hiding titans. The battle turned into slaughter. The Second Fleet, though massive, could not withstand the combined fury of Earth's hidden arsenal. Ship after ship fell. Squadrons broke. Commanders begged for retreat, but the humans gave no mercy. In silence, the planet answered with fire. By the end, the Second Fleet was shattered, its wreckage drifting beside the first. 2 armadas, once symbols of galactic power, now lay broken above the world they had called weak. On Earth, the general stood tall as reports came in. His officers cheered, their voices echoing through the bunker. But the general's face remained calm. "The galaxy is watching," he said quietly. "Now they know what happens when they call us primitive." The galaxy trembles. The wreckage of 2 fleets drifted above Earth, silent monuments to arrogance. Ships that once glowed with power now floated broken, their twisted hulls reflecting faint sunlight. The void was littered with fire and shadow, the bones of empires that had come to mock a single world. Across the galaxy, news spread like wildfire. The worlds of the council, panic replaced laughter. Great halls once filled with cheers now echoed with silence. Delegates sat frozen, their faces pale, their voices unsteady. They destroyed both fleets? One delegate whispered, his tendrils shaking. Not destroyed, another corrected in a trembling voice. They crushed them. 2 entire armadas. Gone. The council chamber erupted into shouts. Some demanded immediate retaliation. Others screamed for peace. Many simply sat in silence, unable to believe the reports flashing across their screens. How could they have hidden such power? A reptilian envoy hissed out, an older voice, calm but heavy, answered, because we were too busy laughing to see. The words struck deep in the streets of alien capitals. Crowds gathered around holoscreens. They watched footage of Earth's hidden warships rising from oceans, of the Titanic vessel Vengeance blotting out the stars. They saw missiles splitting the skies, railguns tearing dreadnoughts apart, fleets burned in silence, and they felt something new. Fear. Asterisk. The galaxy had mocked humans as primitive. Now those same voices whispered the word Deathworlders. Meanwhile, on Earth, the mood was different. Cities still stood. Children still went to school. Farmers still worked their fields. Life continued, even with wreckage hanging above in the sky. But beneath the surface, pride burned bright. In homes, families spoke in hushed tones. We fought back, we survived. In bunkers, soldiers embraced, some crying, some laughing. They had faced the galaxy's worst and won. But in the mountain command center, the general's voice remained steady. Do not celebrate too loudly, he warned. The war is not over. The galaxy will not forgive this humiliation. They will come again stronger, angrier. And we must be ready. On a distant world, an alien warlord slammed his fist against a steel table. They made fools of us. He snarled, if we allow this, our enemies will rise against us too. Earth must be destroyed before their shadow grows. But his advisors hesitated. 2 fleets, Commander, one said softly. Both gone. Even if we gather 10 more, what if they have 10 more vengeances waiting? The warlord's fury faded to doubt. He realized the truth. Earth's strength was not only in weapons, but in the fear they now carried. Across the stars, whispers turned into warnings. Do not send ships to Earth, some said. Do not provoke the humans, others whispered. Stay away from their world, or you will not return. Old rivalries paused as empires reconsidered their future. If a single planet could destroy 2 fleets, what else were they hiding? How far could they go if provoked further? On Earth, leaders from across the planet met in a secret council. They sat around a great table, their faces lit by dim light. Some wore military uniforms, others formal suits. But all carried the same question. What? Now? A voice broke the silence. We have shown our teeth. The galaxy knows we are not weak. But if we push too far, they will unite against us. Another voice countered, calm but fierce. If we stay silent, they will fear us even more. Let them tremble. Fear is a shield stronger than steel. The debate raged, but in the end, the decision was made. Humanity would not boast. Humanity would not threaten. Humanity would remain silent, and that silence shook the stars. Alien leaders begged for explanations, but Earth gave none. Reporters asked for answers, but Earth's broadcast stations remained quiet. Survivors of this alien fleets demanded vengeance, but their cries went unanswered. The galaxy looked at the wreckage above Earth and heard only silence. And in that silence, fear grew louder than any words. In the council chamber, one young delegate dared to speak. His voice cracked with nerves. They say humans have more hidden weapons, more ships, more secrets. What if an elder cut him off? Do not finish that thought. Do not even speak it aloud. If they hear us, if they sense weakness, we will fall as easily as those fleets. The chamber, once full of noise, became heavy with dread. Above Earth, the titanic warship Vengeance drifted in silence, its lights glowing faintly against the wreckage. To the galaxy, it looked less like a ship and more like a warning carved into the void. Earth had not spoken a word, and yet the message was clear. Asterisk. Humanity's message. The galaxy waited. Across alien worlds, citizens gathered in plazas, staring at holoscreens that replayed the same haunting image. Wreckage drifting above a small blue planet. Two fleets, once unstoppable, now reduced to burning metal. But Earth remained silent. Days passed. No message. No explanation. No warning. The silence spread like a shadow, heavier than war drums. Empires hesitated to move. Merchants changed their routes. Soldiers whispered in fear. What are they planning? Voices asked, why won't they speak? Others muttered. Silence became the sharpest weapon of all. At last, the silence ended. It began with a faint signal, carried on every channel across the stars. Alien screens flickered, radios hummed, satellites locked. A single transmission overpowered all others. The image was simple. The human ambassador, standing tall against a black backdrop. His suit was plain, his expression calm, his voice steady, low, but filled with something the galaxy had not heard before. Certainty. You mocked. Use as primitive, he began. You sent fleets to enslave us. You believed we would bow, as others did before us. The chamber of the Galactic Council fell silent as his words played across every corner of the galaxy. No one dared interrupt. You saw only what we allowed you to see. Our rockets, our shells, our small ships. You thought those were our limits. His eyes narrowed, sharp as blades. You were wrong. The broadcast shifted. Images filled the screens. Railguns firing from hidden mountains, submarines launching missiles from the depths, black warships rising from oceans. The Vengeance appeared next, its colossal frame blotting out the stars. Gasps echoed across alien worlds. Delegates in the council chamber sat frozen. These fleets you sent are gone, the ambassador continued. They came to teach us fear. Instead, they learned ours is the wrath of a people who do not kneel. On a desert world, soldiers watched the broadcast in silence. One dropped his weapon, hands trembling. On a trading station, merchants turned. Pale, their voices whispers. If they can destroy two fleets, they can destroy anything. On the council homeworld, leaders clenched their fists, their arrogance broken by the weight of truth. The ambassador's voice grew sharper. Understand. This we do not seek to conquer. We do not seek to rule, but we will never bow. Every planet, every empire must remember, those who come to enslave us will not return. His eyes seemed to pierce every soul across the stars. We are humanity. We are no one's prey. The transmission ended. The screen went black. Silence returned once more, but it was different now. No longer the silence of waiting, it was the silence of fear. Across the galaxy, leaders whispered in private rooms. Some demanded revenge, but their voices were weak. Others begged for peace, afraid of what more Earth might be hiding. And many said nothing at all, too shaken to even speak. In markets, people traded less. In military camps, soldiers stared at the sky, wondering if their next mission would bring them face to face with humans. The galaxy trembled not at war, but at the possibility of what Earth might unleash next. On Earth, the general stood before his people in the mountain command center. Officers around him whispered of victory, of fear spreading across the stars. But the general only said one thing. This is not the end. They will test us again. And when they do, we will be ready. His words carried across the room, strong and certain. Humanity's silence had ended with a single message. and now the galaxy would never forget. Above Earth, the wreckage of 2 alien fleets drifted like ghosts. Among the twisted metal and shattered hulls, the warship Vengeance moved slowly, its lights glowing faintly. It did not fire, it did not speak, but a shadow fell across the stars. Like a promise, humanity had risen, and the galaxy would never laugh again. Asterisk